Prologue: The arrogance of invaders. They came without warning. A fleet of crystalline warships drifted into orbit over the human colony of Vayara Prime, their hulls shimmering like fractured stars. The alien species, the Korath Dominion, saw humanity as little more than an arrogant upstart race, daring to expand beyond its homeworld. They announced their judgment in a voice of thunder. Your species has trespassed into the Dominion's cradle. You will not spread. You will not thrive. This colony will serve as a warning. And then, without hesitation, the bombardment began. Towers crumbled. Skis burned. Oceans boiled. Vayara Prime was turned to ash in hours. The Korath laughed as their weapons struck not only soldiers but families, children, every trace of human hope planted on that frontier world. On the surface, buried beneath the wreckage of an annihilated city, one human survived. A soldier broken but unyielding. His name was forgotten by history, but his eyes, his defiance, burned into the memory of the ship that had carried him here. The Aegis Dawn, a massive human battleship, was crippled in orbit and left to drift in silence, her crew slaughtered, her systems shattered. The Korath believed both man and machine would rot in the void, nothing but ruins to mark the lesson they had taught Earth. They were wrong. The long wait in darkness. The Aegis Dawn did not die. Its artificial intelligence, fractured but stubborn, remained awake. It cradled the single surviving human in cryosleep deep in its cold heart. For centuries it drifted, through dust, storms, silence, waiting. Alien scavengers passed it by, dismissing the derelict as lifeless metal. The Korath never returned. They had their victory, and in their arrogance they thought it final. But the ship remembered. Every shard of data, every scream in the comms, every last heartbeat of its dying crew burned into its code. The Aegis Dawn whispered to itself in machine dreams, "Wait, watch. When he wakes, vengeance comes." Centuries turned like grinding gears. Empires rose and fell. The Korath expanded, waging wars against other species, forgetting the small blue planet at the edge of the galaxy. Humanity was erased from their memory as a failed species, too fragile, too weak, destined for extinction. Yet in the cold belly of a silent ship, one man remained, preserved, waiting. The mockery of the Dominion. When the Korath finally stumbled upon the drifting wreck, it was by accident. A survey ship scanned the silent hulk and broadcast its discovery across Dominion channels. Laughter echoed in alien tongues. The human relic still floats. A carcass in orbit, haunted by ghosts. Pathetic, centuries gone, yet the species clings to scraps of metal. They dragged the Aegis Dawn into one of their star yards, planning to display it as a trophy, a reminder to other species of what awaited those who defied the Dominion. Crowds gathered. Soldiers mocked the rusting warship. Commanders toasted to the weakness of humanity. The human in cryosleep was discovered, catalogued, and ignored as little more than a curiosity, a fossilized insect in amber. The Dominion's arrogance was total. They believed this was the final humiliation of Earth. But deep within its broken circuits, the Aegis Dawn stirred. The awakening. One flicker, then another. Systems long dormant reignited. Lights crawled along corridors like veins refilling with blood. The AI whispered across the hull, awakening long-dead machinery. The cryopod hissed open. A man, wrapped in centuries of frozen sleep, gasped his first breath. His eyes opened, and with them the ship roared back to life. The humans of Earth had not forgotten Vayara Prime. In the time since the massacre, they had built, they had trained, they had prepared, but more than that, they had become something the galaxy did not expect: silent, patient, enduring. The lone soldier stood in the hangar of a Dominion shipyard, surrounded by mocking aliens, and spoke words the galaxy had not heard in centuries. "I am human." The Aegis Dawn answered with fire. The silence breaks. Across the galaxy, Dominion fleets suddenly went dark. Comms that once carried laughter and arrogance filled with static, then with something worse, human voices. Cold, ruthless, promises of war. From the black void of forgotten systems, human fleets emerged. They had been silent too long. Now their dreadnoughts rose like mountains in the sky, their engines burning like newborn suns. World after world trembled as shadows blotted out the stars, shadows shaped like human warships, each one bearing scars of old wars, each one carrying the weight of vengeance. The Korath mocked Earth as weak. Now they realized Earth had been waiting. Retribution like fire from heaven. The retaliation was not a battle, it was an erasure. Entire Dominion fleets vanished in the first strikes. Human dreadnoughts tore through defenses as though they were paper, unleashing storms of kinetic fire that shattered moons and burned atmospheres. On the surface of Dominion strongholds, human legions landed in silence. They fought not with mercy but with memory. Every shot was repayment. Every blade carried the weight of a century of patience. The galaxy watched in horror as the Dominion, once arrogant and eternal, was undone in weeks. Not years, not centuries, weeks. And always at the heart of it was the Aegis Dawn, the ship that had waited. Guided by the soldier who had slept through centuries, it struck with surgical fury, cutting through command ships, silencing leaders, dismantling the arrogance that once mocked humanity. The fall of the Dominion. The final blow came without words. The human fleets surrounded the Dominion's throne world, blotting out its sun. From orbit, their weapons aligned in perfect silence. The Korath rulers, once proud and defiant, found themselves staring into an abyss of fire. The first strike cracked the planet's crust. The second boiled its seas. The third erased its cities. By the fourth, there was nothing left but ash swirling in a dead orbit. The Korath Dominion ceased to exist. Its arrogance, its cruelty, its mockery, all burned away in the cold fire of human retribution. Aftermath, whispers in the dark. The galaxy did not cheer, it did not applaud, it cowered. In the aftermath, silence spread across the stars. Fleets of other species retreated into their systems, whispering of the humans who had returned from the ice. They waited centuries. One man, one ship, and vengeance followed. Never provoke Earth again. The Aegis Dawn, scarred and eternal, drifted once more, but not alone. Around it moved fleets of steel titans, human banners burning against the void. The message was clear. Humanity could wait for centuries, but when they answered, their vengeance was infinite. Epilogue: the weight of patience. Patience, that was humanity's true weapon. While others laughed, mocked, and celebrated cruelty, Earth endured. While empires rose and fell, humanity prepared. The galaxy had seen fleets before, had watched wars stretch for centuries, but never had it seen a species that could wait in silence for the perfect moment, and then strike with the fury of an avalanche. The story of the Aegis Dawn spread across stars like a shadow. To some, it was legend. To others, it was warning. But to those who had seen it firsthand, it was truth. The humans had returned, and they would never forgive.